Hey folks, I'm Red Monster SC, and welcome to episode 3 of the Let's Go Mining Zero to Hero playthrough. In this episode, we're going to rent a Cutlass Black and Grey Cat Rock, then head over to Aberdeen to do some Hadanite mining. We are in the current 3.17.2 live patch. Now, with the change into 3.17.2, there was a full account reset. They got you back to your pledged items, but they did include a stipend. There's a bit of a kerfuffle there, but the end result is we each started with about 1 million AOEC, and you know what? Zero to hero. I appreciate the credits, but let's reset ourselves back. So what I've done in episodes 1 and 2 is I've purchased this entire Pembroke armor set. The backpack, the helmet, the armor. I've got my multi-tool. I've got a quick flare, and really not a whole lot else before that. My ending credit at the end of episode 2 was 47,343. So I have set myself back there. Got set back up at Everest Harbor. And you can see this is basically everything I own: an Odyssey undersuit and a helmet. I've got the Arclight default pistol. I actually won't be carrying that with me today. I will bring the mid pin. Might as well. And then a couple of backup items. I've got a chocolate bar, a cruise hydration here. And yeah, this is what we're going to attack episode 3 with. Our plan today is we're going to head over to her L1 and rent a Cutlass Black with a Grey Cat Rock, and we're going to head into Aberdeen, where we will find Hadanite, the most profitable gemstone to go after, and potentially earning about a 200,000 credits per hour is my target. We might be able to earn a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, just depending on how the survey and luck goes, but that's what we're here for. So let's go ahead and get set up. Pulling that Aurora MR. We're going to head off to her L1. So hangar 2. There we go. The elevators in 3.17.2, definitely not as murderous. Also, with the patch, all of your ships will spawn by default in a hangar. The only place this doesn't happen is Port Olisar, because Port Olisar is entirely landing pads. They don't have any hangars there. Just a design decision there for the earliest versions. Get loaded in. Okay, we've got everything we need in our backpack right now, so we don't need to go off and carry anything too specific. Just looking at our vehicle inventory. Yeah, we are emptied out. We're going to be storing this at her L1 once we get that Cutlass Black rented. And hopefully be able to get some good credits behind us today. This will pretty much wipe out our entire credit reserve right now. We'll be I think sub 10,000. Make sure to turn the engines on. So we'll be below 10,000 credits just for a moment, which will be scary, but you know what? One mining run and we'll have a great time with it. Other note about the new Lagrange points. We have the main gravity area, gravity central, I guess, not necessarily a gravity well, because Lagrange points aren't those. But you have to navigate within and actually select the station. Now, it's an additional jump. Just takes a little bit of time. So we'll jump over there. When I was doing testing in the 3.17.2 PTU, there were differences in rental prices based on which refinery station you were at. Arc L4 and Mike L2 or Mike L5, they actually had this Grey Cat Rock and Cutlass combo for like less than 16,000 credits. Unfortunately, that did not make it into the live build, and Yeah, I'd done this great tutorial video on how you could turn, 16,000 credits into 200 per hour, and tell you what, it's unfortunate. Testing, PTU server, switched into live, it just didn't translate over. And, it's a bummer, but it's what happens. I'm not a developer. I don't get any of the inside details like that, but I'm just here to play the game, guys. That's it. So heading over to her L1, all of the rental prices are within like a couple hundred credits of each other on the live build. Hopefully, maybe someday in the future, those rental prices will be different based on the location you get to. But for now, at least, we'll survive. And as you saw here, it dropped us out about 37,000 kilometers from the station. That is a new feature with Lagrange points and their various points of interest around them. This opens up the possibility for jump points and multiple points of interest around a Lagrange point. So, kind of exciting. We know we've got Pyro coming up with 4.0, and yeah, cave crabs in Pyro, gonna be quite terrifying. I'm really looking forward to that. No real other like solid details about new mining stuff that's gonna happen with Pyro. I know they've got the Hadanite Cluster, that's an asteroid field there in the early inner orbit, and a couple of planetary bodies that may or may not have some resources. The initial lore on them said that they had been strip mined away, but I think the writers have gone through and retconned that. Initial strip mining explanation has disappeared in favor of it being something that you can actually go and mine at. I will be actually kind of excited if, based on what they're able to bring in, I'm kind of curious whether CIG is going to introduce more volatile materials. Other maybe exotics that we only find in Pyro because of its unique extended flare. They talk about it being a flare system. And, not necessarily as scientifically accurate, taking a little bit of creative liberties. A prolonged flare phase, I think they called it. Or prolonged nova phase, as that main star in Pyro is classified. To talk about ships needing additional shielding in Pyro, based on those hazardous flares that could strike out at any moment. I'm sure we'll have a bit of an early warning system, but I would think something like a rock on the surface could be a pretty vulnerable place to be. So, very curious how that turns out when we get to 4.0. And we are going to store our ship. Just good practice anyways. And let's head over to the refinery deck, where we should be able to pick out our ship. And get those rentals going. All the stations look close enough to the same that you get confused when the layout is new. Find a distinct lack of signage here, a bit of a concern. We ought to get somebody on that. It adds variety, but it's a little bit of a thin variety, in my opinion. It all looks the same, it's just in a slightly different place. It's like when you walk into your favorite grocery store, but in a different city, and they've got the milk in a completely different area of the store. You don't know where the razor blades are. You just want a bag of Doritos. You gotta hunt through the electronics department to find it. That type of thing. Oh, and here we go. Old habits. Heading into the refinement processing. That's not where you want to go. We want to head into the mining support center. Hey everybody. Looks like it's a fresh server. Everyone's still standing at attention in their spawn locations. And we're going to take a look at the Vantage rentals. All right, so 38,000 credits. It's what it's going to cost us. And really, same price, back and forth. Now, the thing here, only do a 1-day rental. If I go to the 3-day rental, it tries to charge me a whole lot more. If I can't even hit that right now because I'm low. 3 days, 7 days, 30 days. Yeah, so only do the 1-day rental. There's a bug where if you try and do multiple days, it will potentially, I think you'll try to put a 3-day order in and it'll charge you for 30. Which, man, that would be pretty terrible. Go ahead and rent the Gray Cat for 4,300. Confirm rental there. There's just a very minor amount of price variation. You notice we had 42.99. It charges 4,300. Rounding errors. Thanks, CIG. And yeah, we have 8,400 credits to spare. Let's head back out, and I've got a sneaking suspicion. Got a sneaking suspicion that I put that rental vehicle back at Lorville. So we have the option. Option 1 is we fly back to Lorville, land, pull the ship there, which will take, 10 minutes or so. Or we pull a quick insurance claim here at her L1 and get it plugged in. We're gonna head to Aberdeen first to pull up the Grey Cat ROC. We don't need to claim it here at the station, and actually it won't even show up because there's not a ground landing pad we can pull the vehicle onto. We'll have to be at a ground outpost or a surface entrance at one of the Lorville gates on that outer perimeter line. And here we go. Yes, that's right. Started in Lorville, so I'll file a claim. This will be a 6.5 minute. I could pay the expedited fee, but I mean, I only have 8,000 credits, so I'm going to wait this one out. And we are back. Look at that, the Cutlass Black. We can retrieve it. Let's go for it. One of the many intricacies of Star Citizen that you get used to. I wish you put it at the same location you started with, because that was a long wait. Or you could spend some money. I mean, they probably do that. I'll earn a couple thousand credits each time we get a gemstone deposit. But hey, yeah, Hangar 3. They've added the buttons there a couple of patches ago with the Cutlass Black. Great all-around ship. I would say if you can afford the Cutlass Black, this will get you into just about any kind of trouble you can imagine here in the verse. It's got, 40, 46, 48 SCU cargo space, so enough to hold a full prospector's load of refined materials in. You can definitely fit 2 ROC vehicles in the back here.
You are clear to launch.
And yeah, I'll tell you what, 2 ROCs, 2 Cyclones. It's got an additional turret up there. You can bring your friend along. It's got a co-pilot seat, so you could do a 3-man crew in here. Just don't expect to have any privacy. There is not a wash closet in the Cutlass Black, which I think is a huge burden on the life of the citizen. Daily life of the citizen trying to make a living out of his Cutlass Black. You just, find a bucket. That's the best advice I've got.
Thank you, and please visit again.
And we'll head back over to Hurston, and we're gonna go straight to Aberdeen. And my favorite outposts, Norgard. We'll pull the rock there, and then because we don't want to be near the outposts or easy to find, once we get the rock, we'll take it up to OM1 or OM2, North Pole or South Pole, and try and get ourselves into the daylight side of Aberdeen for the longest amount of daytime sun. If you guys are not backers already, please consider using my referral code. It's going to be in the description below. You'll get to start off with an extra 5,000 AUEC starting credits, and depending on when you join, once you get that pledge to become an official backer, there may be some additional promotions. They sometimes do, like a Dragonfly, which is a fun little ground vehicle. They'll throw that on with lifetime insurance. You can upgrade those later on. So, not that the insurance game is in there yet, but there's a lot of us longtime backers that really like having that lifetime insurance thing on there. Insurance in the game will work kind of like it does in other space games like Elite Dangerous, where you'll have to pay a monthly premium or something. When your ship gets destroyed, you'll have to pay a fee. Right now, that means you get to wait out a longer sentence. Basically, if your ship gets destroyed, you can file an insurance claim and it will replenish your vehicle. And, that was 6 or 7 minutes before, or you can pay a premium out of pocket to speed up that, expedite that insurance claim. So, the end result, there will probably be a monthly credit balance you've got to pay to keep your ships insured. And there will be various tiers of vehicle insurance, but right now, this game is alpha. Oh, and I see 2. See 2 pirates over here. We're gonna quickly do a thing. Okay, mercenary call to arms. Get a couple extra credits. I don't necessarily think I need. To fight these guys off. They're far enough away. Yeah. Just to make sure we're good there. Heading to Norgard. Seven kilometers out, and they're still parked there. I think we'll be able to get everything done we need to before they wake up. Don't have to worry about that. Call to arms gives you some extra credits if you take out pirates and mercenaries, on the criminal side. So, and here we go. We're looking for the 2 blue Platinum Bay pads and the blue Platinum Bay building. We'll land next to here. Now, don't land too close, because it will impound your ship. But we can see we're actually safe here. And that top right, the no bullet icon, that means we are in an armistice zone. They can't do nothing to hurt us. They might try. NPCs are a little stupid like that. So we'll go ahead and come out. You can close up the ramp if you'd like to. Right now, I'm just getting the vehicle in and out. If you're out in the field mining, either close the ramp or face yourself towards your vehicle so that you can see if someone's trying to sneak onto your ship. That's all kinds of bad news.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval
and here we have our Grey Cat Rock. We're going to claim that, and it's a 15-second.
Your insurance claims
Gives us just enough time to loot some of this here in the local. Okay, a couple of orbit mining attachments, and the Degnius route. Nothing great. We do have the Blue Beaver. Let's pull the Blue Beaver over. It's a hydrating and energizing. Unfortunately, the jumping limes are dehydrating. So let's not mess with those. And a couple of Blue Beaver for the road,
The ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been
Can we
delivered
pull
to
it?
Solid
Oh
Rock.
man, look at that.
Goodbye.
It's gonna be our money maker. These rock vehicles are so fun to just drive around, get nice and responsive on the planet surface. You can see our survival estimate on the bottom left there. We've got about an hour and 10 minutes. If we stay out in this heat the whole time, more than enough time to finish a couple of gemstone deposits. And there we go. You see? Fits right in there. I'm going to turn off the engine while I'm in here. Leave all the other systems on. Turn the engine off, just so you don't have to listen to it. We'll close it up. And one thing, if you're paranoid about somebody sneaking onto your ship, go to the F1, hit your comlink channels, and look at the Cutlass Black, and look at the members. Look at those members, and if nobody else is on there, then you're golden. Nobody else has snuck on your ship. Little pro tip there. If you have a larger ship, this might become more of an issue, you know, hanging around with a Carrack and somebody's out there just running up the ramp, hiding in the cargo area. Definite possibility. Now, we're going to head up to OM1, if we can find it. Okay. Just looking there, it's a little below... I think we can get enough altitude to get there. I'm just watching these. Red indicators are obstructed. Blue, you can travel directly to. I don't want to be near an outpost, so I want to do a full reset. And there we go. OM1 is visible, 360 kilometers. I'd say like the Grey Cat... the rock itself is only visible from like 5 kilometers out, but the Cutlass will be visible from 40 kilometers or so. Now, if we're out here at OM1, quick zoom out. Looking down onto, you see the day and the night side of the planet. If we go on to the right limb of this daylight side, that's actually in sunrise. Okay, which gives us the opportunity, we can head down that direction and get just about anything we want, as long as we start heading, you know, kind of along that limb down further south across the planet. We'll be able to chase that limb of the sunrise mostly. So we're gonna go ahead and head down in. Just checking on the quantum travel, you can see we've got the hexagonal indicators for a planet-side point of interest, like a landing zone. But if it's dotted, it means it is not within direct line of sight. There's something obstructing it, but we can spline jump around it. Red diamonds are our orbital markers. And we don't have a home plate icon here because this is not a main planet with a major city. But looking at where we're heading, if we kind of head, maybe not directly south, but pretty close to it, we should be in good enough shape. We won't run into any outposts or any other potential distractions. So tone that in. The one thing we want to do, actually, is make sure our scan, we're going to bring it down to 90 degrees. And we'll just ping at a 90-degree angle on our way down. I don't necessarily need the scan up the whole time. I have that bound on my joysticks, and makes it really easy, although I'm doing mouse and keyboard right now. So, you hear the click-clack of mechanical keyboards. Now when we're looking for gemstones, you can see I'm pinging. Right now this is just to see how far off the planet's surface is. We got some altitude we're aiming for. And there, we finally get the altimeter, and actually that might be working. So that ping gives us an indicator of how far up above the surface we are with the virtual horizon. When we're getting signals, we're looking for gemstone deposits. They actually only show up at about 4 kilometers distance. So, when you have signals that pop up at 8 to 10 kilometers, those are ore deposits. You can mostly ignore those, except we want to keep track. You know, here's an example that pops out at about 7. I don't necessarily want to go to that signal, but I want to make sure I keep track of where it was, because if something new pops in, and here's a great example. Those two at like 5 kilometers, 7 kilometers, they were out there. This one only showed up at 2.5, 3 kilometers total. This will be one of our gemstone deposits. It's because the mass of the materials there. And that's actually a really good gemstone deposit. We are looking at 8 total. And if I do a quick zoom in, that's green. If we pull out our scan and do a detailed scan on those, it'll tell us it's dolomite. Now, we can sit here and scoop these up if we'd like to. That might actually be good, but you know what? I'm gonna be picky. We want Hadanite. It is going to be our most profitable, twice the price of any of the others. It's about 275 per unit for Hadanite. Here we go. We saw a signal off to the right that was at 8 to 10. This one popped in right at 2 kilometers. And already another looks like 8, maybe 9. And you can do a scan once you've got it targeted with this yellow outline. Might need to get a little bit closer, but it'll tell you the composition, and that is Hadanite. You can also hold the F and scroll wheel in to zoom in. A cluster of Hadanite, boom. Now, each one of these rocks in these deposits will give you 3 CSCU of gemstones. We're gonna scoot a little further forward. 3 SCU of gemstones for each deposit. It doesn't matter what percentage those rocks say they are, you know, what concentration of Hadanite. Every single one of them will give you 3 CSCU. The rock carries 8, so it's, I think, about 27. 27 gemstone deposits like this on the 0.8 mass. I'm gonna do one quick thing before we get too far out. Let's untrack that call to arms mission. Okay. So if we find 27 of those deposits, that'll fill us up. Which is, honestly, we're finding 8 clusters each. 3 of these bad boys won't be good. Let's get out. This one says it's 92% Hadanite on the left. We're gonna break and scoop. I like to break and scoop each rock at a time, mainly because if you shatter a rock with a little bit of overcharge power in it, it will scatter everything else that's on the ground. So just in the interest of keeping things clean, tidy, and then also if I go through and break all of these rocks together and I find out it doesn't want to extract, that's a lot of extra work. Right now, I could potentially triangulate my location and come back and rescue myself. Get a backup rock and come back with a fresh one. But I don't want to leave all those gemstones out here. And yeah, we'll scoop it up. They did change the way that the gemstone extraction works, so that's going to be a little bit slower progress than it had been in previous patches. But we also don't get the whirlwind effect. Alright, I think that's just a fake indicator. Sometimes you get like a ghost gem that runs off somewhere. And actually, you know what? I think that's legit. Nope, none. 2.9 CSCU, we might have a gemstone behind us. This one right here, it's going to tell us it is 85%. So we had a 92 and an 85. Just reposition a little bit so it's easier to see that charge level. I'll go up to 100% until we're about to hit that optimal window, and then I'll scale it back down. Don't want to overshoot the optimal. We can also move the laser off of the rock briefly. Doing the scroll wheel up and down. It's a little slow on the responsiveness. See, we did overcharge just a little bit. Just taking that laser off for a brief moment. There's not an upgrade on the Grey Cat Rock to, you know, make the laser function and give any perks. Unfortunately. You know what happened? We had one of those rocks that was hiding behind the other. I might have just scattered all of them. I was extracting and I moved my laser beam. Yeah, about half of that scoop. Yeah, one rock hiding right there. I've done a terrible thing. Let's go fix it real quick. Yeah. I moved my laser as they were all scooping in. So I kind of overshot. It's the level of realism we really strive for here. And you know, it happens to the best of us. This is all just part of the experience here. Obviously, I'm not planning on doing anything else like that. So it makes sense to just go scoop now while I can. Very happy with the results so far. I mean, 8 Dolomite, 8 Hadanite. Back up just a little bit. The only thing I'm upset about here is that my laser won't start this little scrub brush on fire. I feel like that needs to happen. Random wildfires and environmental hazards. Alright, we're gonna get a little bit closer. They used to have little distance indicators. Tell you how far off you are. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Crisis averted. And we'll go ahead and switch around here. So now we're up to 6 CSCU. This gemstone says it's 80%. Let that charge up a little bit. And scale it down. There is some instability there. That instability is a factor of how wildly those charge levels are going to fluctuate based on a consistent laser power. You can see it kind of bouncing around a little bit. A lot to respond to. Much better controlled fracture. Happy with that. Don't move your laser too frequently. Otherwise you'll overshoot and send stuff flying. Just hover over where the gemstones are. It'll scoop them up eventually. Each one waiting their turn. And we see we are up to 9 CSCU, so we got all from that. 96% Hadanite. So yeah, with the 317.2 patch, the initial couple of days were a little rough. I was actually out of town, so I didn't get to sit around for most of the excitement, but CIG offered up a stipend for those who played in the 317.1 live build, and it was based on your playtime, which was, I do have to say, I felt like it was a very well-intentioned move. I like it. I can respect it. I think their head was in the right place. However, there was some arithmetic issues. The stipends ended up being pretty significant. I was in a Discord voice call with a bunch of the folks from the Red Legion, and they were reporting in 30, 40. I think the highest we saw was a 93 million for their stipend when they logged in. So those first couple of days, it was a spending spree. CIG confirmed that was unintentional. They had carried a 0 somewhere. It's not an insignificant detail. But went through, pulled the stipend money back, because honestly, if you start off with 80 million credits, you've got no reason to grind for anything, and probably loses your incentive to play. However, what they did was folks who had spent a lot of that cash, they went through and reversed a couple of the purchases. That was an interesting way to handle it, and I think probably based on some technical limitations on the back end, they weren't able to do a full re-release of the intended stipend. So they ended up just giving everybody 1 million credits after resetting it. Hopefully they go for the stipend again in future patches when we have an expected wipe. I really like the idea of it being based on playtime, but I'd like it to figure in a little bit of the PTU play sessions as well, because I'll tell you what, we get some of those PTU patches, and you know, I'm researching new content, trying to figure out new methods and techniques and what changes are in there, and I'm really testing those pretty heavily. So when we got a PTU, I generally opt for PTU over the live servers once it's available. I'm in wave 1 for the concierge group, and yeah, definitely helpful to get in there and learn what changes we can expect. But it just sucks to kind of get dinged a little bit for lack of participation in the live servers. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the issue they ran into is that the playtime number they were looking at was, instead of an hours played, it was like minutes played. So we got like 60 times what we were expected to. They did mention the amounts being roughly equivalent to purchase an Avenger, which is in like the 800 and 900,000 credit realm. So makes sense. It might be 60 times what they'd intended.
Extraction mode on.
Well, hopefully those get plugged in. And as you can see, each time I'm collecting a new rock, it's incrementing by another 3 CSCO. But do a handful of these. Gemstone deposits. I won't stop for singles. Really, a 3 deposit cluster is about the minimum I'd recommend you stop for. Reason why is each time you load and unload the rock, you got this overhead of time that you're kind of burdening yourself with. Time that you're not mining, you could be out surveying for a new rock. You can find a better cluster, you know, than a 3-piece usually. And I won't stop for the other stuff, Dolivine or Alpharite, unless I'm in like a really bad, like slow run. So, and Aberdeen's great for Hadanite. It's you got the best chance overall finding it here. But Magda, Ida, some of those other locations, I think Daymar does pretty well. With the benefit that Daymar, Magda, and I think Ida, none of those require the extreme heat suit. You can do Daymar without the suit. It just, you've got more other materials mixed in. The Hadanite percentage here is, as a total of the gemstone deposits, Aberdeen's the place to go for it. RNG, as in all things, will be different. Individual results will vary. Might pop in. It might take you an entire game session to find an 8 gemstone deposit like cluster like I've got here. And we are up to 21, so that's 7 out of 8. Final gemstone in this cluster. Alright. Back that power down.
Warning. Power critical.
That instability, really playing around with this. It's an instability of 2, which is still manageable. Just with the mouse scroll wheel, you're limited on the responsiveness when it goes up and down in certain increments, so you don't have a full direct axis.
Power critical.
We'll pull that off just a little bit, just to the tiniest little bit of overcharge, and of course
Extraction mode on.
the server has to think about when that rock's gonna break. But we'll have our 24 CSCU here in just a minute. Gonna just set my extractor there.
Fracturing mode on.
Toggle it off and on. I'm not seeing any extraction. We are going... There we go. So say, we can pull up the display info detail panel and check the B-win, which is our bandwidth in. If that drops to 0, then we know that's a server disconnect at 30,000 error. 30K. Just takes a minute to catch up. Now we're here. Got one little straggler that I think ran itself sideways. Go snag that. Once we get the rest of this done. There we are. Right there. Boom. 3.9. One might have fallen somewhere. Okay, we'll toggle back in. That's a little bit on a hill, but we can still make that. Off to deposit number 2. Close up the tailgate. And we're going to have the sun off to our left side as we continue surveying along the planet's surface for additional deposits. We'll just keep that kind of general direction southward and keeping the sun off to our left. We want to make sure we're at a 90-degree field of view. We're just moving forward. And keep it at 90 because otherwise you'll get stuff that pops up sideways, like directly off your starboard or port sides. And if you're cruising along at 300 meters a second, that's a an ore deposit that actually showed up at less than like 1 kilometer. So we gotta reset the location. So we see an 8 kilometer out there and 1500. That's what we're looking for. That looks like a twin. It's gonna be rough. And it's on the hillside, I think. Yeah, it's green Dolivine, not even worth. Might have stopped for Hadanite. Maybe. Depending on how greedy you want to get. But you can be picky. And here's another one right here. See? If I had committed, I'd have wasted some time there. Now they're going to resolve. What do we see? We got 3. Let's see what she looks like. Yeah, that's Hadanite. I don't even need to scan it. So we'll stop for the 3. Turn the engines off. Save yourself some hydrogen fuel. Venture over here. I'm at about 60% hydration. Not a bad place to be. We get down to about 40%, and that's when I'm going to take a quick game bio break. Replenish some hydration. Get a little bit of nutrition there. So. Power up there. You can go into third person if you'd like. I'd definitely like to just see the interior. Now that's my cluster. I'll just back up there. Position myself so that I can see my cutlass while I'm mining. Ain't nobody sneaking in on me.
Mining mode on.
Alright. 89% Hadanite. I keep reciting the numbers like it matters. Just know, it doesn't matter. And yeah, we have a weekly Sunday morning mining session that I run on my Twitch channel. That's open invite. If you want to get in and do a group mining, it's not necessarily gemstone mining. We usually do Quantanium mining, either in the belt or on Lyria. Those are kind of the current hot spots. But we go in with a large group. We have security, we have surveyors, and we have miners. So we have people out there finding rocks for us. They get paid a 15% finder's fee based on the refined value of Quantanium we pull for each order. So, not a bad way to make, you know, I was paying 150, 200k for a mole load out to those finders, which is pretty good. You get a couple of those if you like the survey game but don't necessarily want to break the rocks and deal with the logistics of hauling and refining cargo. Then definitely a great opportunity to get in there, experience some of the gameplay, but not necessarily have to do all of it yourself. Also, if you don't have a mining ship, but you know the basics about mining, you can actually hop into a mining laser and practice a little bit of that multi-crew on a mole. Mole's one of my favorite ships. Got the ship showdown going on right now, and Team Mole. I'm also Team Saber Raven. Although I don't think the Raven's going to get much attention, because it is an exclusive package ship, only available with hardware purchase. There's 2 of those, the AMD Mustang Omega. It came with like the R9 graphics cards, or R7, way back in the day. I'll do a quick and then the Saber Raven was only available with the Intel Optane SSDs. So, got a bit of an owner's club there, pushing for that one, but I don't know. We might not see it. Might not see it make it into the final bracket. The mole definitely deserves it, though. I'll say if you've got a mole, you know what I'm talking about. That ship is... It's got a great industrial feel to it. Multi-crew mining. You can solo mole. Turn out max profits. It's a little bit of a skill, honestly. I'd say if you want to really challenge yourself to learn all the ins and outs of the mining gameplay, a solo mole is the way to do it. This rock is not reading any charge level. There we go. And it just got a very sensitive hitbox right there at the bottom. Okay. Keep that in mind. Back the power down. Set up with our Sunday morning mining sessions. We'll get out there. I pulled in, I want to say 3.1 million credits worth of Quantanium last Sunday in my mole. We did have a multi-crew setup going on, so I was splitting out some finder's fees, some crew splits. And this rock is gonna just sit here and decide when to break. It's gonna be great. We can, I mean, maybe drive away. Who knows? 9.79. We got one other gemstone hiding behind us. That is really... We know it's gonna break here in a minute. I'll run over here and scoop this one while we wait. .9. There we go. Sometimes you just, I mean, it's like a wash pot. Turn around, let it do its thing. Don't fret. If it does take too long, maybe there's a server performance issue, and yeah, take the opportunity to do a quick bed log, pop into a different region, toggle yourself into a new server where hopefully the performance is a little bit better and the RNG gets the reset. I had someone get very upset because they didn't think that you could reset your RNG by moving locations in the belt when mining for asteroids. I fully believe that happens. Talk about probability spheres, and I agree. Probability spheres, 20-kilometer range or so for each zone. You get hot zones, but alas, it's also random. Oh no, that's the co-pilot seat. I don't think I can do anything from there. Can fire missiles, or at least used to be able to. That's what I get for not being careful about where I click. We've never run into that issue before, right? Okay, continuing on. Sun to our left. Pull up the scan, make sure we're at 90 degrees. Got our ore deposit out there. And the cutlass is great. This panel in front, just taking off the entirety of your visible area. We got that signal at 8 kilometers. Got the one at 8. And close. Kind of pass through these. Just keeping an eye out. Okay, and hey, what do we know? Right there. Looks like 3. Do a detailed scan. Almost takes longer on the scan than just zooming in. But we've got Hadanite. I'm happy with that. Okay. Let's go scoop that up. What are we at? We had 8 plus 3 plus 3, so we're at 14 deposits. We're about halfway. Not bad, not bad. Oh, backs right up over the... Yeah. That's why third person's great. You can actually see where you're driving.
Fracturing mode on. Mining mode.
32.9, so 33. Closing in. We got to 36 at the 36, 39, 42. Yeah, that's right.
Warning. Power critical.
42 SCU. CSU. Stability's messing with us just a little bit.
Warning. Power critical. Extraction mode on.
It is a balmy 215 degrees Celsius outside. That's why you need the Pembroke. The Rented ROC cabin is not an environmentally sealed, happy to be place. It is open. Got like mesh panels on the side here. Very much like a little Jeep type feeling.
Fracturing mode on.
Reposition just a little bit, get ourselves better visibility on that charge level over there. What happens is if you line your charge level up right beneath your laser beam, you really can't see anything. It's just too bright. That charge about 100, we'll get it charged up. Don't want to overshoot. This does have a very small optimal window on here. A little bit of the randomization there, making things matter. Scroll up, scroll down to manage. Are.
Extraction mode on.
Okay. Oh, bouncer. The days of the hurricane of Hadanite, little swarm of angry bee tie up the gemstones, will just hover around. The best way to do that would be to actually get like as close as you could the rocks on the ground, and then only then could you extract, and it wouldn't fling them everywhere.
Fracturing mode on.
And last gemstone here. All right. Halfway done. one full rock will be about 190,000 credits. We'll actually overfill just a little bit. We can do this because we'll transfer some of the gemstones out of the rock into the cutlass.
Extraction mode on.
Be able to sell all that. Oh, all those are gonna just... Nice and orderly. Alright, 41.9. It's really going to annoy me. We got one that just kind of disappeared somewhere. Triggered just a little bit. And we are at 50% hydration. Keep that in mind. You can dehydrate, you can overheat. Require medical rescue or potentially lose all of your hull. So be conservative. And pull up the UV scanner. V for scan mode. And continue our ping. Each time I get back in, seems like I don't see any new gemstones in the immediate area. I've got to travel a little bit out of range. Alright, we're at 6 kilometers. That's an ore deposit. We'll see it resolve here in a moment. Oh, interesting. Had a little sneaky one. Another 8 kilometer out there. You will occasionally get, if you have something that doesn't show up until it's within 500 meters, like a complete surprise there. Those are going to be hand minables on the surface. You can find the hand mineable 0.1 mass on the planet's surface. It's pretty rare to find them because, like I said, you do have to be within about 500 meters for it to even show up on a radar ping. You can mine those with the grok. You just have to manage it with like basically minimum laser power. Hit it with some quick pulses. The rock can still collect them, but instead of getting 3 CSCU per rock, you get like 0.08. Not even a full CSCU per deposit, which is unfortunate. Alright, we've used up 25% of our hydrogen. I'm gonna split the gap between these two. Seems to be the best way. Okay, well, alright. We got a third ore deposit way out yonder. That's a trio of ore. And here we go. This right here. The signal we're looking for. Oh, and that looks like a single. I won't even justify it with a scan. Just enough to tell that's a gemstone. And that we're not happy with it. That's right, be picky. It's about being time efficient. Oh, see. You pass up the single, you come across another 7 or 8 cluster. We can get in there. Remember, we can scan, or we can just scroll. That's pink. It's Hadanite. So we were at 14. We're getting up to 21. 21 total deposits. I think we said it was like 27 to fill up. So, yeah. One more of these babies, and we'll be golden. Tickled pink. Yeah, yeah. Little Hadanite joke, because it's pink. Don't worry. I'm not a comedian. Okay, don't run over the rocks. Just run around them. do a quick... Oh. Yeah. Going into third person apparently does not like... Let's keep your laser where it was at. Little power management there. Again, don't overcharge it. You can undercharge just fine. It's one of those error on the side of not enough power. Because the results for overcharging are significantly more pain in the butt. Just out of range up there. I think we'll be alright though. Get that on the way back. I think there's definitely going to be some debates in the comment section about whether it should be whether the rock should be pulled in face forward or if I should back the rock into the cutty to make it easier to go in and out next time. Very different camps on each. I'm gonna go actually scoop this real quick. I'm gonna take a moment to capture a quick screenshot. Alright, hopefully you didn't make too much of that gap. Just slight interruptions that don't get to interfere with mining. But alas, we are still working on the same rocks. I took the opportunity to capture my episode title screenshot. So, good looking stuff. Believe you me. It's got poses and framing. A lot of action involved. Yeah. Virtual photography.
Extraction mode on.
Yeah, the advanced camera controls give a lot of opportunities, actually, for some really cool angles and unique perspectives in the verse. I mean, that's the one thing they did a very good job on, is giving us the ability to really capture the scene in a way that, that we find the most creative, most unique. Not everything has to be the same angle, you know, honestly. Angles get boring. You want a little bit of perspective and zoom and depth of field. Alright, scrolling up and down, still just managing that power. This will be a little bit over half. You know, we're 47.3. I don't know how we... Yeah, we scooped it a little bit into our backpack during that quick break. We'll fill up on another, like, if we get a 6 or 7 deposit cluster. That would be the full run for us. I am going to move a few more into my backpack as we load the vehicle back on Cutlass Black the next time I'm in. just give some room. We wanna make sure we have room for another large cluster, and it's okay to come back a little over full. You can either move those into the backpack or move them into the Cutlass local inventory once the vehicle's parked inside. I'd recommend selling about every hour or so. That tends to be about how long it takes me to fill up the rock. Selling once every hour, kind of make sure that you cash in when you can. If you run into a server disconnect error, sometimes it will not restore the ground vehicle or its inventory appropriately. There's some nested ship logic issue that breaks with the 30k recovery. So, yeah, you want money in the bank, not Hadanite disappearing on you. So. And of course, I mean, piracy, not that it's a common thing for rock mining. I would say people pirating rock miners are probably just really, really bored. It can happen. It's probably one of the current ways that's actually the easiest to recover miners' materials. Because you can't really open up a prospector's hold and take the raw material out. Only the ship owner can get that into the refinery. But with a rock, anybody can interact with the cargo bay in the back, pull the gemstones out, and take that haul for themselves. Which I think is actually kind of interesting. Three more. Just quick reset. Here we go. Yeah, you can kind of see that right side. It's a little hard to see the charge bar if you have it lined up too close. Usually have the rock aimed a little bit off to the left of where your center point is. Gives you the most opportunity. You can still see that HUD without getting too overlaid. Right now, we're not in a bad spot either. Just need to make sure you've got a good contrasting background. And doing this at night also helps. If you end up being on the night side of the planet. I'm excited about this. We're gonna make 200,000 credits. Really pay for that rental fee. Get some money in the bank. Move our way up. We may try and do a rented prospector with a module if we can. Although I do think the rented rock will be the most profitable way to go. Get a couple of sessions out of this one while we're still recording and still on the same 24-hour rental. So honestly, you come out here on a Saturday, Sunday, whatever day you've got, 6 hours to do stuff. 1.2, 1.5 maybe. Be well on your way to a prospector. I'd say owning a prospector is the next big step in anybody's mining career. Opening up the potential for 250, 270,000 credits per hour. Get outfitted to run Quantanium, and that's really quite the moneymaker. And yeah, everybody focuses on Quantanium, but realistically, it's the one that makes the most sense. Profit over time. So. The next most expensive material is actually half of the price of Quantanium, and you cannot find it nearly as easily. Bexelite comes in a maximum of 25% in a deposit, and actually it's more rare to find a higher percentage Bexelite on that scale. Out of like 50 rocks, I think only 2 or 3 will actually be above 10% Bexelite. The way that they've got their curves distributed. Might not be that extreme, but this is an example. Quantanium, it's, you know, it's also similar. You'll see a whole lot more of the 2.1 percentage Q rocks. It's because of the way they've got that distribution. It's not a linear from the minimum 2.1 to the maximum of 50. It's, they've got an exponent on that curve. About half of them will be 2 or 3%. Only about 5% of all of the Quantanium rocks will actually be over 30% or so. Makes finding a good patch pretty rare, but definitely rewarding. Just let all these rocks scoop up. Alright, we're up to 60. We're going to transfer again once we get into the vehicle. Scoop these last 2 that decided to run away on us.
Fracturing mode on.
Oop. Little oversteering.
Mining mode on.
And go on a third person as we load up. Down to 30% hydration. It will be time to take a quick drink. But first, let's move some of those gems. We can open up the back of the cargo bay, open this little cargo hatch. Yeah, so we got a handful there. I'm going to actually filter real quick. So I can just drag and drop blankly. That's 78%. It's kind of fun, I think. Every now and then, the rock shudders when you pull something out. It's like taking a really large, you know, bag of groceries out of the car. The suspension bounces a little bit. Case of beer, maybe? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can drag that over. I've also got a voice attack macro I could set up that does a transfer from right to left, or kind of doing all the mouse movements for you, so you don't have to do this all. You can do that into your backpack. I could also do that into the cutlass. If I just drop one in there, 2, 3, 4. All right, we got 10 in there. It hasn't even broken the 1%, so plenty of space for multiple loads worth. And let's see what we can do to try if we can get it to 2 before this page fills up. Yeah. Red might be bored. I'm just kidding. Rock mining is great. It's still going. We haven't even broken the full 1%. Right now, this is just a rounding error. You see, 460,000 over 800,000. Yeah, that's gonna be a whole lot more than what we need. So we'll finish filling up the 1 page. I'll screenshot it because why not? Maybe a little dear CIG, please fix the gemstone stacking because this is bad. They're working on a sell all or move all button as well. All right, ready, set, go. Screenshot captured. Point demonstrated. Okay, we're gonna close that up. And while we are here, got my personal. I'm gonna take my helmet off. I'm gonna look at my sustenance. Oh, do we wanna? I had my blue Biva, hydrating and energizing. I'm gonna eat that. There we are. Eat. Okay, it disappeared. But what do we see? Maybe I'm not dehydrated anymore. My helmet back on. Always remember your helmet. Don't see the hydration warning anymore, so maybe that took care of us. Engines on, and hey, you know what? We're getting more into the daylight here. Once again, it's gonna take a little bit once I get in there. Taking off, moving around for scan results to pack up. There's maybe one of those oddities of passive radar finding everything, and the game not quite sure what to do with you. Alright, see our ore deposit at 7 kilometers. Okay, another one out there. Gotta change center. And there we are. Under 3 kilometers. Driving around like a crazy person. Okay, and a second one out there. So, reminder, don't be picky. Be picky. Words are hard. And this whole thing is unscripted. Alright, those are 2. That's 2. Let's go see what's over here. Because if this is another nice patch, I'll snag those 2 to start. Yeah, what do we got? 7. And yep, pink Hadanite. So, good news is we have made room for these. So we should be able to collect both. There's going to be a total of 9 deposits. And I'll have room in my backpack in case we get overfilled. The one thing I'm going to do, though, is as I get out of the cutlass here, I'm going to actually exit the rock and close up my ramp. Because I'm going to be out of direct sight. We're going to head over about 1,200 meters to that other deposit that's hanging out there. The 2 that were next to each other. And do our best to collect everything we can right now, and you know, really cash in. That's all closed up, and you should be able to see them from inside the rock. Yeah, 1100. That away we go. Love these like lower gravity planets. You just get to really let loose with the vehicles. Don't hit all the trees. We'll skirt around those. There they are. Down to 54 CSCO. 9 rocks will take us to 27. I think we'll actually be right there at 1 or 2 gemstones under capacity. We'll actually have about 9 left over. We'll have to transfer. I think we can handle that.
Extraction mode on.
Now, someone could be interacting with the cargo bay on the back of the vehicle and loading into their own backpack, making transfers for you and letting you keep on doing that. I would say while it would be a cool idea, probably not as profitable as just, you know, getting a second rock out. It's hard to really get more efficient in a rock.
Factory mode on.
Not quite earning enough to make surveying a good deal, and the fact is you'll find enough gemstones. There's not, you know, the gemstone deposits you do find, with each of them giving you 3 CSCU each. Yeah, you don't really need to filter through your finds that much. Just, you know, clusters are pretty easy. With ore deposits, you have a lot more time spent surveying, trying to make things, trying to make decisions about which ore deposits are actually good and worth stopping for. Gemstones, it's just, are there 3 or more, and are they Hadanite? Very limited criteria. With other deposits, it's got to be of the right type, you have to have the right percentage, you maybe have some mass considerations, especially if you're a solo prospector, doesn't have the gadgets or modules to manage a larger rock break on your own.
Warning. Power critical.
A little overcharge. Alright. Well, I saw a little bit of scattering. Not too bad. The more aggressive you get with that overcharge, the worse it's going to get. They could scatter hundreds of meters. You'll be out there driving around all day trying to scoop them up. That's something that kills your time efficiency. 100%. Alright. Being picky, it's just about being efficient with your time.
Fracturing mode
And we're gonna head back over. Our deposits appearing. Oop. Little nosedive there. Great terrain. Just super fun. Alright, let's do it. Start on the far outside here. Yeah, there we are. Make sure the overlay pops up. Don't want to be mining blind. Gotta know what you're scooping. Alright, so this is 7. We're gonna have 21. Right at 60 CSCU right now. Feels good to have the full rock. I'm not gonna lie. Down to like 8,000 credits in the bank. It's amazing how quick you can turn that around. I am a little bummed that the rental fees are 38 instead of the 16. That would have been great if they'd kept those cheaper rental prices at the new refineries. I'm actually very disappointed in what was put in there. There's no mining lasers, modules, or gadgets that are available at those new refinery stations they brought in with 317.2. They just didn't populate the shop inventory at all. And then the yield bonuses at the refineries, most of them are actually a negative 20% quantanium yield. So a huge downside there. And then the additional, there was one refinery station was actually a negative 25% quantanium downside with an additional 5% titanium reduction. So they really didn't include any bonuses. No real reason to go there. I was talking during last Sunday, we actually had a group mining session with Croncy and Kaylee Whaley, a couple of other SC content creators focused on mining themselves on occasion. suspected that maybe those are going to be some no questions asked refinery shops, where you can drop in, where maybe you've got a crime stat and you need a safe haven to drop your materials at. Might be interesting. But oh, a little bit of a server desync there. We were way below, and then all of a sudden, the server decided to update and put us right over into the overcharge. Cases like that, it's good to just turn the laser off, let the power management just cool off a little bit. Immediately turn the laser back on and start scrolling up a little bit, getting a little bit of power, but in the meantime, you really want that rock to not overcharge. So, best course of action, just power off for a moment. Hey, we're scooping. Very important you have like a backpack or some other storage, especially if you end up getting into a situation where your rock vehicle gets damaged or doesn't want to move. It's not often that they take damage, but they can overheat. So you got to shut it down for a couple of minutes, let the cooling systems catch up. That is one of the other reasons why it's nice to break the rock and then scoop after each on the gemstones. If you harvest 3 or more rocks in a row without scooping, you're hitting that laser power, really overheating your system pretty heavily. Some people have recommended that. It's just been a natural habit for me. When I'm gemstone mining, I always want to scoop immediately. I don't wait to scoop for gemstones like I would with ore deposits. The only times I've run into those issues is with overheating is when I've tried to break multiples altogether. Yeah. Next up. This one claims to be 92%. Just pull that power a little bit. Go. Up at 69 CSCU. It's charged up. Oh, graphical glitch, that's fun. Doesn't quite draw that curve in there properly. This HUD is new as of, I think, 3.17. We used to have more, and this is currently like a monochromatic in the Grey Cat Rock. It used to have more of the green and reds that you'd see in the Prospector. The Mole's always had also a little bit of a different UI for its turrets as well.
Extraction mode on.
I don't dislike the current UI for the Rock. I think it's well done. Still visually distinct enough. Not quite sure how colorblind effective it is. I'd assume it's probably pretty good. Alright, scooping some rocks. Yeah, we're gonna have
Fracturing mode on.
just the best load here. I'm betting 220. Total value? Well, we'll confirm that. I think 220 makes sense. After this, we'll probably go over to Magda. One of the other moons that's around here. I don't think I need the environmental suit for Magda.
Extraction
It's got a nice red terrain. Just break up the monotony of the Aberdeen desert. Go over to a slightly different desert. Those Hurston moons. That's right. Stanton 1. Its official designation. Closest to the star here in Stanton.
fracturing mode on.
Hottest on the inside of that Goldilocks zone, as they call it. Well, rescue beacon.
Warning.
Yeah, a little overcharged there. Somebody's out there in need of medical assistance. 15,000 credits. Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get paid here. We have a couple of things we need to do, so this is gonna fill us right up.
Power critical.
Oh, a little overcharge. Does auto shut off. So I'm not going to be able to scoop that whole thing. I'm going to have like 0.6 SCU over. I'm going to break this rock, and then what I'm going to do is actually get out, transfer a couple of the gemstones into my backpack. Hopefully enough to make room there. And then plug the back of the Cutlass Black open. Get that ramp pulled down so I can just drive right in when we're done. We're going to go sell. Cash in.
Warning. Power critical. Warning. Power critical.
And head over to Magda. Had pretty good luck there before. I think that's going to be episode 4. Just a little grand tour of the SC verse. Stanton system, rock mining adventures. Earn what I can. Of course, I think we'll be back here to Aberdeen. Oh. Once we get a rented prospector. I will do a short rented prospector section. We are full. That's good news. Let's go ahead and get this taken care of. We are busted up. Oh, I'm back down to 39% hydration. That blue Viva apparently did not do everything I wanted it to. It's all right. We got some goods. Now I could go and scoop all of those individually by hand and just put them right in my backpack. But that's actually going to be a lot slower. Let's just do a quick filter. Okay, we're at 39% in my backpack. And we'll get enough. I think we'll get enough. Really great finds. Started off with an 8 deposit cluster here. Just wonderful. Just wonderful. If I were on stream, people call it streamer's luck. Oh man. Do have an upcoming rock mining night. We're going to take a Friday and just go out and rock mine as a group. For anybody who's interested in trying that out, I would say if you don't have a bunch of fancy, expensive pledge ships, get out there and try it out. I actually had somebody convince me to try out the Nomad. I don't really like the aesthetic of the Nomad, but looking around at it, it is, I guess, the El Camino of the SC universe. It's a car, it's a truck, it's a bit of an anomaly, but you can load the rock onto the back of the Nomad with the cargo ramp down and go out and mine with that. And I think it's probably one of the more affordable. I get it. We will be officially the cheapest ship, pledge ship that you can get that will hold a rock. So. Good opportunity there. We're at 100%. All right, not enough space. So we're good. Let's go ahead and close that up. Yep, that's right. I did just call the Nomad the El Camino of the verse.
Fracturing mode on. Mining mode on. Extraction mode on.
Okay, I'm not moving my arm. The icons are disappearing progressively. I'm happy with that. Okay, we're at 76, and a couple of gemstones hiding back here. Yeah. Get the odd phantom gemstone icon. What is that place? Not quite sure if that's oriented to anything in particular, but it's out there. Alright, load it up. Engines off. Close up the back. Let's head back to Norgard and sell. While we're there, I'll take a beverage out. And just an idea of how far away we are from any point of interest. Nothing on the immediate horizon, so that's good. Through the planet. Okay, Dobbs is our mining outpost. Anderson and Norgard. 350 kilometers. Let's go to it. Spline jump around the planet. Night approach is always great to just ping. It's the equivalent of night vision in Star Citizen. The scanning changes, I think this came in with 314. They went from the big blue box of blindness to these dispersed cloud signals. I really like the change that they made with the scanning. It was a little bit difficult to relearn, but we'll say I'm pretty happy with it. And it does provide that virtual horizon as you make your approach, because, yeah, you'd crash right into those mountains. Of course, what are ship lights, right? Just kind of toggle off and on. You can kind of see in third person. Just a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and pull it down. Rotate. I know Norgard pretty well. Gonna do a quick refuel. Okay, so that's 1,000 credits down. Okay, 7387. Gonna leave the vehicle in there. We don't need to pull it out. Can stay right where it's at. Sell from everything. And head into the terminal here. Yeah, 27, 30 minutes of survival. Alright. Go ahead and start. Again, we're at 7307 total. After the rentals and refueling. Okay. Now, if we go to sell, we can choose a location. So the Pembroke backpack. That's going to have 31,075. Okay, so we're going to sell all of that. Okay, so the Pembroke backpack. The exploration suit, nothing to sell. The Cuddy Black has 13,750. 13,750. Okay. Well, we're up to 52,132. Now, the big one, the Gray Cat Rock. 209. They're selling for 275 credits apiece. Okay. 209,000. Guys. 209,550. So we're at 261, 182. We just sold 254,000 AUEC worth of Hadanite in a little over an hour and a half of mining. So, that is awesome. Let me go ahead. I'm going to unequip my helmet and bust out with my hydration. Get a beverage in hand. Drink that baby up. Alright. As you're drinking, you hold the left mouse button to consume the entire thing. Just watch those numbers go up. I love it. I love it. $95. The one thing about these drinks that is totally broken is I cannot throw it while I'm in an armistice zone. I would love to. It's my favorite. The best way to get rid of empty bottles. Abuse the NPCs. For now, I'll just set it there. Thanks, buddy. It disappears. We'll do a quick loot. I see a box. In case there's anything worthy of collecting. Oh, yeah. I'm going to take a med gun and equip it to my person. I'm going to go into my personal here with that med gun. Got a pink quick flare. Maybe don't need that. Oh. My backpack's still registering 99%. So, and while I'm in here in my inventory, I'm going to just remember to put my helmet back on. There we go. All right. That's it for episode 3 of the Let's Go Mining series. We collected 250,000 AUAC, 254,000 to be exact, of Hadanite in this episode on Aberdeen, which is really the honey hole for Hadanite. We're going to try and test our luck over on Magda for an next episode. But until then, I'll see you later. Thank you again for watching, participating, and all those like and subscribes. Appreciate that very much. It helps with the algorithm. And I also want to give a thank you to my subscribers on Twitch, and of course my Patreons who have provided their continuous support through Patreon. The links are in the description below. Hope to see you guys around in my next video, or catch me on Twitch, where I stream every Monday night, Friday night, and Sunday morning, schedule permitting. Obviously, I've got vacations and stuff, but I am there creating content for Star Citizen and just enjoying my space nerd lifestyle. Thank you guys, everybody, and I'll see you in episode 4.